to most things. So this is a habit that many people have. The first reaction to anything is no. I remember when I was growing up, actually, my mother had this habit. And I remember when I was growing up, there was a process that I had learned of how to get what I wanted, which was you asked, and the answer was always no. And you didn't fight right then because she was in the no mood. And you had to wait, and I developed this whole strategy as a child of knowing how to turn that no to yes. But why is this? Why is it that our first reaction to everything is no? Even half the time before we even think about it. We say no before we even give it a chance. नहीं ये नहीं हो सकता, मैं नहीं कर सकती हूँ. And if we say yes just to be polite, inside we're saying no. So our mouth is saying yes because we know कि कहना चाहिए, but inside also we're thinking, oh. So inside is no either way. Why does this happen? It happens because we are living contracted. We are living in these tiny, tiny worlds of fear and grasping. As though somehow, if I take a deep breath and let go, I'm going to somehow lose something. As though I have to be holding very, very tightly to that which I have. As though I have to be holding very, very tightly to my life, to how people act, to how they treat me, to what they do. As though somehow, if I just take a deep breath and realize it's all going to be okay, that actually this is what's being asked of me in the moment, that somehow it's going to fall apart. And this is where our spiritual practice is so important, because that comes out only of this tiny, contracted experience of myself. Yeah, if everyone can just check their phones for a minute, that'd be fantastic. Just either off or on silent. We live in this tiny, contracted experience. We think this is who I am. I am this body. I am my career. I am my bank account. I am my relations. We think that this is all I am. That the sum total of who I am is just how much money I've made, or what job I've gotten, or what relationships I have, or how big my house is, or how many cars I have. And that's the ignorance. We've been speaking all day today about light on this International Day of Light. When we speak about light, it's the light that dispels the darkness of ignorance. And that ignorance is the thing that says, this is all who I am. And when the light comes, we realize that's not who I am. I'm not my career, I'm not my bank account, I'm not my body, I'm not my relationships. That who I am is divine. Who I am is one with the Creator and the creation. Who I am is consciousness. There's no place that you're going to lose any of that. And so when people ask us something, Achaji, can you do this? Achaji, could you give me that? Achaji, I say, is this okay? Rather than having to hold on with this death grip to what I think I need in my life, no, I said no because I said it. Right? How many of us have ever given the answer? Why? Because I said so. This is the Who I am is wrapped up in the identity of being your mother, your father, your boss. It's the idea that somehow yes is going to take too much of me. And this is where our spiritual practice is so important. Not because of just the relationship, but because when I'm saying no to other people, when I'm saying no to everything in life, I'm actually saying no to life. The same no that comes out when my child asks me something, when friends ask me something, when neighbors ask me something, when coworkers ask me something, that's the same no that is the no to life. You can't be yes to God, yes to creation, yes to all of life, but no to all of the people I meet. We either move through the world as yes, or we move through the world as no. And when we develop this habit of moving through the world as no, it's also no to ourselves. It's no to spirituality. It's no to the incredible gifts of what life has to offer. And this is where yes is so important. Say yes. But so many times people think, well, if I say yes, people are going to think I'm weak. If I say yes, I'm just going to become a doormat. If I say yes, people will take advantage of me. And this is where it's so important to realize, what am I here for? Am I here just to get my needs met? Am I here just to grab and grasp and hoard? That's not why we took birth. We took birth to experience the truth of who we are, to live that truth, to live that divinity, to live that dharma. Saying yes is not weak. Saying yes is strong. Saying yes doesn't make you a doormat. Saying yes makes you the one who has the courage to say, it's more important to fulfill my dharma here, which is yes. Yes to life. Yes to my true self. Yes to divine connection. More important to say yes to that than to worry about who's going to take advantage of me, than to worry about whether I'm doing the dishes more than the other person, or whether I'm helping this one more than they're helping me. We think of life as give and take. The problem with that is that we spend our lives counting. When we think of life as just giving, then we stop counting in our minds. And then we actually come into contact with who we really are. There's that beautiful story that Pujya Swamiji loves of the saint who's bathing in the river. And as he's bathing in the river, he notices a scorpion drowning. And so he picks up the scorpion to get it onto the land. And as he picks it up, the scorpion stings him. And so the man goes, ow, and he flings his hand and the scorpion falls back in the water. Oh, now he's drowning again. So the saint picks him up again and he goes to take him back. And again the scorpion stings him. And again the man flings his hand in pain. Again the scorpion falls in the water. And there's a guy sitting under a tree on the riverbank watching this. And after this drama goes on for 5-6 times, he says, Baba, what though he's a scorpion? He's going to keep stinging you. Mardni though, let him die. Kab tak bachate rahoge? How long are you going to keep doing this for? So the saint says, he stings me because it's his dharma to sting. I save because it's my dharma to save. If he's not leaving his dharma, why should I leave my dharma? And so we say yes because we realize it is our dharma to say yes. And yes to life, yes to union, yes to awakening, yes to co-creating. the most beautiful, peaceful, light-filled, love-filled, oneness-filled, union-filled life that we can possibly live. But you can't say yes to all of that and no to everybody who walks in front of you. And so it's our dharma to say yes. And we do. And when we realize that, then we stop saying no, because then we come out of that fear that I have to somehow hoard and restrict and grab. And when we say yes to life, life says yes to us. It's sort of a mutual relationship. When we say no to life, we find that life starts to say no to us. Not out of vengeance, but simply because there's an energy that we put out into the world that either says, yes, I'm ready. Again, Pujya Swamiji says, sometimes when bad things happen, we all think, or what we would call bad things, we always say, why me? Why me? He says, instead of why me, our mantra needs to be, try me. Oh God, try me. And so when we move through the world with saying yes, with the mantra of, okay, God, try me, then life starts to say yes to us. Our fear says, oh, I'm going to be taken advantage of. But that's actually not what happens. What happens is we energetically start literally attracting the world, the energy of the universe. And so when we realize that, we stop saying no and we start saying yes. And that's when the beautiful magic starts to happen. Before taking any of the other questions that came in advance, I'm happy to open it up to any questions here. Yes, Preeti.
It's a question from Barik. What's the reason for negative thinking?
Reasons for negative thinking. There's a lot of reasons. Most of them have actually been ingrained in us. Okay, so we're going to do a little experiment. I'm going to give you scene 1 of a movie. Okay? Scene 1 of a movie is a beautiful family. Beautiful husband, beautiful wife, beautiful children are driving their car down the road. And it's a beautiful day. And the birds are singing, and it's sunny out, and there's no traffic on the road, and they're singing in the car. Okay? This is scene 1. Scene 2, anyone? You don't have to be clairvoyant. Just guesses. Anyone's guess of what's scene 2 in this movie? Any ideas? Kids fight. Okay, a good scene 2. The kids stop singing together and they start fighting each other. Any other possible scene 2s? And again, there's no right answer. It's not like this was a movie you were supposed to have seen and remembered. It's showing us how we think. Okay, kids fight. Other scene 2s.
They meet with an accident.
They meet with an accident. Absolutely. Other scene 2s. Beautiful day, beautiful family, driving down the road. That's scene 1. Other scene 2s.
Probably they would continue to spread their happiness wherever they go. So they go to another place and they meet happy people, and that's how they spread. So I would.
Any producers or directors in the room that would make that movie? Is this a movie that's going to sell? Would anybody go to see that movie, right? So the trailer is happy family spreads happiness wherever they go. Anybody going to buy a ticket to that movie? Okay, so, but if I say to you, scene 1 is beautiful day, happy family. Scene 2 is they meet with an accident. Well, our interest is piqued a little bit. All right, then what happens? Maybe we'd go see that movie. And this is actually tragically one of the causes of our negative thinking in life, is because every single thing that we see, every moment in our created existence, not our real existence, but whether it's a TV show, a movie, a book, in which things are beautiful and perfect. You could basically count to 10 before something happens, right? So scene 2 is always an accident or an earthquake or the car catches fire or she announces she's dying of cancer or, right, one of the kids throws the other kid out the window or whatever it may be. I mean, it just depends on how creative the audience is, but it's always something tragically negative. And so since this is what we've been primed to believe, is it any wonder that in our life, when things go really well, that there's this part of us that's just waiting for the other shoe to drop? That's just thinking, oh my God, something's going to happen. It can't go on like this. It can't go on like this. It can't go on like this. And then 2 things happen. Number 1, here we are in this beautiful state of everything is right. We're in the car. No one has cancer. They're singing. They haven't started fighting. No accident. No earthquake. But I can't enjoy it because I'm waiting for the avalanche and the rock is going to fall from the top of the mountain and squash us all. I'm waiting for that. So I'm actually in this moment of joy, but I can't enjoy it. So I've already put myself in that moment of misery. The other thing that happens is we actually self-sabotage. We actually create in our lives failure. This is a topic that comes up a lot, is when everything seems to be going right for me. I'm just about to get the job that I've wanted. I'm just about to get in the relationship that I've wanted. I've been working on this project. It's just about to take off. Somehow, something always seems to happen right before I actually achieve that final step. And when we're really deep and honest with ourselves, in a lot of those cases, it's actually an unconscious self-sabotage. It's actually that part of us that just can't believe that things actually could be good. And so in order to create a reality that matches how I think, as crazy as it sounds, we actually do this. So that's one major aspect of negative thinking. The other aspect of why we think so negatively is similar to the first question of why we always say no. And it's because we live in these tiny constricted existences. Just, this is who I am. This is my life. I am the job. I am the relationships. I am what I look like. I am my wealth. I am whether my kid's room is clean or dirty, whether they're a success or a failure. I am what the neighbors say about me. Right? I mean, think about how much of our life goes in that. Samne wale kya kahenge? It's not ki what I want to do. It's not what I know is right. It's ki wo kya kahega. And so when we live in these constricted existences where our lives are always based on what is this one going to say? And of course it's always negative, because in all my years I've never heard of a story in which Samnewala says, oh wow, I'm so impressed by you. Wow, I wish I could be like you. Samnewale by nature is always the one who's critical. And so when our lives are spent worrying about that, we live in this constricted existence. And our lives become always grabbing and grasping and hoarding and wanting more, yearning for more. It's never enough. Because I'm looking in this constricted existence in what my body looks like. The color of its skin, how much it weighs, the color of its hair. whether there's wrinkles yet or not wrinkles yet, all of these aspects of the body. How much it makes, how people think about it. Where am I on my social ladder? Because I'm living in that constricted existence, I need to keep grabbing. Because if I'm empty, if there isn't a me other than what I have, what I earn, what I own, what I look like, what I wear, well then yeah, I better keep earning and owning and attaining and wearing. If that's all I am. And so this is where all of that negativity comes in, because it's never enough. I did a study once. I had been in India maybe a year or two. And I was back in America, and I had already sensed very clearly that there was a very deep secret here, and a very deep secret about the meaning of life and how to actually find real joy. But I'm a scientist by heart and a scientist by nature, and I thought, all right, let's do a study. And so I did a study, and the study was that I asked about 10, 12 people I knew, all of whom were at the absolute height of their careers. So a famous actress in Hollywood, a singer whose song was in the top 10 on the radio, a billionaire CEO of a Fortune 500 company, a tenured professor at Stanford, a successful basketball player playing for the LA Lakers. You know, whatever field they're in, people who had reached the height, had reached where everybody else is killing themselves to get to. And I asked every one of them a simple question. Are you happy? Now, I didn't ask it just like that. I asked it in the middle of a conversation. Some of them I met, some I spoke to on the phone. They were all people I knew well. So they didn't think I was doing a study. They just thought, oh, India se aaye vapas chalo, acha hai phone aaye unka. But in the midst of the conversation, I asked, are you happy? And what I got was, every single one of them gave me one of two answers. Either, I will be happy when, and you could fill in the blank. The blanks differed from person to person, ranging from when the kids, grow up and move out of the house, to when my husband works a little bit less and comes home earlier, to when I get the job that I wanted, to when I lose the 10 pounds I gained over the holidays. But I'll be happy when. Or I would be happy if the kids would clean up their room, there were less traffic, or we could move somewhere closer to where I worked so I didn't have to sit in traffic so much, or whatever the if was. But all of these people who had attained the absolute pinnacle, every one of them was still one thing away from happiness. And so if anyone has any doubt that money or success or career or achievement brings happiness, let this story wipe that out of your mind. Because if you're in business, chances are you'd love to be a billionaire CEO of a Fortune 500 company. If you are wanting to be someone in show business, chances are you'd love to be an actress in Hollywood. Are you in academia? Well, how about being a tenured professor at Stanford, right? This is what we are running for. This is what we think, when I get there, then I will be happy. But when happiness is always an arm's length away, so is life. And so that negativity comes from this constant, pervasive frustration. We're literally trying to squeeze orange juice out of a cow's udders. We're looking for happiness, we're looking for peace, we're looking for joy, we're looking for meaning in life. We're looking for bliss, we're looking for fulfillment. And where are we looking? In my career, in my bank account, in my looks, in my relationships. And it's literally like trying to squeeze orange juice out of a cow. It's not there. Doesn't exist there. And not only can you not squeeze orange juice out of a cow, but you then deprive yourself of actually the gift of milk. Because milk is wonderful. But if every time I'm squeezing them, I'm thinking, oh, what a waste, no orange juice yet, no orange juice yet. I'm not able to actually just enjoy the comfort, the convenience, and look for my orange juice in an orange orchard. Look for my happiness, look for my peace, look for my meaning in life, where it exists, which is inside. And so until we turn inward, we're going to be negative. My favorite joke on this, and then we'll conclude for tonight, is the man who goes to the doctor and he says, there is something very wrong with me. Whatever I touch, it hurts. Doctor's surprised because typically people have one complaint. And this guy says, whatever I touch, when I touch my head, it hurts. Touch my stomach, it hurts. I touch my back, it hurts. So he runs all of the tests and scans, and at the end he calls the man in and he says, well, the good news is there's nothing wrong with your back or your head or your stomach. The bad news is your finger is broken. And since your finger is broken, whatever you touch, it hurts. But it doesn't hurt because of the problems outside. It hurts because of the broken finger. And this is that negativity in our life, because our lives hurt. But we think the problem is, oh my God, my stupid, in-laws, or my stupid job, or my stupid boss, or my stupid employees, or the stupid traffic, or this or that. And the problem is that we're moving through life with a broken connection. Not necessarily the finger, the inner connection. And this is where getting reconnected is the answer. And now, as I always say, it's not an inoculation. Spirituality is not an inoculation against life happening. Doesn't mean stock market won't crash. It doesn't mean you'll never get fired. It doesn't mean that your relationships are all going to go exactly as you want them to. Doesn't mean you won't gain weight over the holidays. It doesn't mean any of that. But it means that won't hurt the way that it hurts when you're disconnected. It means that that's not going to be where your happiness and peace is hooked into. That you're able to stay grounded and stay anchored and stay connected and stay peaceful. Stay positive. We will close satsang here. We'll see you, most of you, again tomorrow evening. If you have questions that we didn't get to tonight, if you're going to be here tomorrow, feel free to just bring them in. If you're not going to be here tomorrow or you feel shy to ask them in public, you can get them to Preeti in the front or Ed in the back, and they'll get them to me on our paper to take in tomorrow. Have a beautiful evening.